Uh, I don't know. I can't roll with they had more technology than us, but we the one who taught them about technology. You feel what I'm saying? And it's
Uh,
like, or and then she said that Moses or whoever went into the caves and uprecked and
Hey, how's it going?
all
what's
right,
up, bro?
but she said the Moses and them, the ones that went into the caves and resurrected the Europeans. So,
Who, Moses?
then she turned around and made it seem like the Europeans was so much way ahead of the Africans. So that was confusing. You feel what I'm saying?
Okay. So
But yeah,
look, so
did
we're
you?
gonna let the guest. My
Yeah,
bad, there. So
go
we'll let
ahead,
the
Prince.
guest introduce herself and let them know how they can follow you, find you, what you got going on. If you got any business you're trying to promote, you know what I'm saying. This is what you do right quick before you answer the question that we throw out there.
All right. Can you hear me?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you good.
So, my name is Nash. I'm in Cape Town. I'm a voice actor, and I'm also studying a master's in film and media production at a university here in Cape Town.
Okay.
Cool,
I'm
cool.
originally from Zimbabwe, but I live in South Africa now, which is like Zimbabwe's neighbor to the south.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And has any of your grandparents ever told you about this great story where a whole bunch of Africans just got conquered and taken into slavery or and into America? Like growing up, you grew up in Zimbabwe, right?
Yeah, born and bred in Zimbabwe. I only moved to South Africa in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
So
real
so
ass question too.
did your
That's
family
dope.
members ever tell you about that, or did you learn that in school?
Well, I had to learn that at school because, you see, my grandparents, my grandmother specifically, she couldn't read or write. My parents' generation were the first to leave what is called the rural areas, where upon colonization, the native people of the land were driven to these arid regions of the country where there was no rainfall. They couldn't do much with the land. So my parents' generation was the first to actually leave these areas after the liberation struggle, where the black leaders fought against the white minority regimes that were oppressing the majority of the people. So they left these rural areas, and they were fortunate to manage to go to university, attain degrees, and make something out of their lives. My father always tells me that, we are creators of our own destiny. That's what he refers to. So, yeah, I had to learn all about African history, which is not taught much, by the way. I was just fortunate that I, went to a school that taught some of it. So there was a bit of a balance between European history and African history, but more so the history of my country than the history of Africa as a continent. So, yeah, the question.
Yeah, no. That was the question. You kind of answered it for me. You kind of answered it for me. But
I'm gonna ask this though, to that question.
yeah.
Because you to piggyback off a dated question, but because you come from there, what is the average? I ain't gonna say everybody because no particular thing is absolute. You know what I'm saying as far as opinions and takes and shit like that. But what is the masses in Africa's take on the quote unquote black man in America? Before we get to the question, you know what I'm saying? Like, do y'all feel there's a difference? Do they feel this their descendants? Do it feel like, you know what I'm saying? What's your take on that?
So I can only tell you my take on it. I can't generalize to say what the general consensus is. So I can only tell you my opinion on it, um, which is that while historically African Americans are indeed connected to Africa. And I've seen that a lot of African Americans, when they come here, they have a profound spiritual connection to the land, you know. But also, I find that Africa has been romanticized in that respect, that, you know, there are cultural differences. I wish, you know, like that African Americans would also assume the American identity, you know, as much as we assume the African identity. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, while there is a historical connection to the continent, there should also be an appreciation of one's identity where they were brought up. Because, you know, like, I visited the States for the first time in September last year. And, you know, my partner, she's American. And culturally, I don't think that you guys have much in connection with any country here, other than the fact that, you know, you have historical connection to it. You see, African American culture is something that is very significant. You know, it's something that is very unique. I do understand that, you know, because of history, then you guys have like a profound spiritual, you know, connection. You know, when you come here, you see people who look like you physically, you know, like Africa, you know, and you have such a profound connection. It's like a connection, it's like a belonging that you have. But culturally, yeah, there are significant differences between Black American experiences in the world and how Africans experience the world, you know? Yeah, that's my opinion.
I definitely
So,
believe we all are one people on a broad scale. You see? You know? But just like you just said, we all are also attached to where we were brought up at. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes I feel like it needs to be a balance. That's all I'm saying. I feel like we lean one way or another too much, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I,
I was also like watching when you guys were talking about the word nigger and black. And yeah, I mean, I have had profound conversations with different people about those terms. And, you know, like I understand the historical implications of the word nigger specifically. And I have met and had conversations with people who are completely adverse towards the idea of the term being used. But, you know, that's one way to look at. But you see, there's another way to consider it as well, which is, you know, in linguistics, there's like appreciation. There's something that's called appreciation and depreciation of words, whereby over time, words change in meaning. You know, there are certain words that have become better in meaning. They don't mean what they used to mean back in the day, and some words have become like, you know, like more specified in meaning. You know what I mean? So, like the word nigger, for example, it was used as a racial slur, you know, as a bad word to refer to a particular kind of person. But now, it's like what, I don't know if you guys have heard about Steve Biko. He was a South African activist, anti-apartheid activist, and he was also talking about the word black and how black people have, you know, appropriated that word to make it mean something much more profound than what it was used with, as how it was used as a derogatory. Yeah. So he was saying that we call ourselves black in the same capacity that white people call themselves white. We might not, I heard, I'm not sure what your name is, but I heard what you were saying, that I don't look black. Yeah. So he was saying that in the same capacity that white people are called white, but they don't really look white. So it was a way to try and remove the word from the derogatory sense that it was used. So hip hop did the same thing with the word nigger, right? Like, I think it was hip hop, and, you know, like just general social interaction. Where now, when I say, like I have an African accent, but I'm probably going to sound ridiculous when I say this. I don't have an African American. Where my niggas at? Like I'm not talking about like.
Yeah, that's hard.
Where
We
my
like that
nigga?
over here. We like that kind of rhetoric. Go ahead.
I'm not talking about, hey, where are people that I can enslave so that they can work? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like where my brother's at. You know what I mean? Like where my body's at, where my people at. So yeah, that's if I.
So how you feel when a white person call you that?
Yeah, it's different. So it's different, because
In Africa,
yeah.
did the people that conquered Africa use that same word to,
Yeah. So here in South Africa, particularly, there is a word that was used. You guys know about the racial divisions of South Africa's history, right?
Right.
Apartheid.
Yeah.
So there was a word that is somewhat synonymous to the word nigger that was used here. And till this day, it's still considered very offensive. So you don't get black people here going around calling each other that word.
Right.
What's the word?
No, he can't say
I'm
that.
I'm not sure if I
Can't
can
say
say it. You see, and
You
I'm
can
black.
say it.
You see what I mean? So, and I'm black, and I cannot say that word, but like
Do
with
you,
the
do
word
you say
nigger,
it in your regular time, like amongst your people? Do you use it at all, or is it just taboo? Period, even in your
it's taboo.
regular day to
Period.
day.
You cannot say that word. You don't get black people here
Oh.
going
Can
around
you
calling
spell
each
it?
other,
He said
like
he's brother.
that
No,
word.
but
So
see,
if you want to know what the word is, then go on
Yeah.
Google and type South Africa K word racial slur. You'll see
Okay.
it.
No,
but look, it's not the N word though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
no,
well,
it's
it's
their
similar
N
because
word.
it was used in the past to refer
But
to
it's
black
not
people.
nigga though.
What
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
word in Africa synonymous to the word nigga? And
Sorry.
when I was asking Google, Google kind of like is the end all be all.